What's up, YouTube? I'm Robert, and you're watching the B1KER Bar Podcast. Some of the guys in the comments are talking about that you guys have a clunker. How'd that come about?
So clunkers are pretty cool.
Right?
No, it's hard to say that they're not.
So the one you guys have is it a coaster brake?
It's coaster brake capable, but it's also, we tried to keep it as open as possible. So, really it's a frame that you can buy and you can slap all your mountain bike parts on it that are outdated.
Right.
Pretty much. It has 44 millimeter head tube, so you can run any fork you want in it. You can run an 1.1/8 fork. You can run a tapered fork. You could run.
Oh, nice.
I mean, you can run an 1.5 inch straight fork if you have one of those sitting around. And then it's a threaded bottom bracket, 27.2 seat post, which you can run a dropper post with. Right. And then the rear end is a 135, bolt-on style dropout. So any older single speed wheels, or you can space out coaster brake hubs to work with that rear end spacing. So I used to work at a bike shop in Iowa called Ichi Bike. And that's all we did. We built, we refurbished old Schwinn's, and we built clunkers and, just cool cruiser bikes. And
right
it's something that I've always been into. And when I came on working at REEB, I really thought about the fact that we make a lot of pretty high-end bikes, and you don't really want to lock up one of those really high-end bikes outside of a bar. Right. So our clunker is half the price of one of our, normal mountain bikes. Yeah. So it makes a much cheaper bike. It's still a very nice, high quality, high-end bike, but it doesn't necessarily stand out like a high-end mountain bike does. So
no, I'm with you. I have a $400 freaking Raleigh single speed road bike. I don't know if that's what you want to call it. You know what I mean? That I use. That's my bar bike. It's a nice bike, dude. It pedals good, good frame and everything like that. But at the end of the day, that's kind of why I have it, is if somebody decides to take that while I'm inside having some beers, I'm going to be upset, but I'm not going to be heartbroken,
Yeah. And so our bike can be built up pretty much any way you want. Rigid fork, suspension fork. It can be a very affordable bar bike, or it can be built up as a rad single speed mountain bike with a suspension fork. Yeah. Tim's bike is built up with a Cane Creek helm on the front, and it's normal, single speed, mountain bike trail ripper. And that thing is so much fun.
So the bike that you were talking about earlier, Tim, your single speed is actually the clunker?
Well, I have both. So I have a ridiculous 2 that's a belt drive single speed, and then my clunker is just what Adam said. It's a chain drive single speed, but it's got wheels. They're the really good Stans flow rims, the old flows, whatever they were called, the heavy ones that a helm fork that was still in great shape, but just ended up being retired off another bike, and that sort of stuff. So it's got some sort of hodgepodge parts, but it turned out, it's got tubeless mountain bike wheels and a nice suspension fork and a dropper post. So it's a ton of fun to actually trail ride on. Yeah,
I've had this idea for this clunker freaking ride that I want, video ride, whatever you want to call it. So I had you guys know who Charlie Kelly is?
Yeah.
Right. So he started the mountain bike racing, downhill racing scene, I guess you could say, in Marin County.
Yep.
And there's a documentary on Amazon called Clunkers that basically he had a big deal to do with. And there's this run over there, the Repack run. That's kind of the birthplace of mountain biking, right? And those guys like Chris Ritchie and stuff like that, held the record for years and years on these old ass freaking clunkers that they rolled down that hill. And I've never been to the trail, but everybody I've talked to that has been there, I mean, it's basically like a fire road. It's not a trail by any means of what we would call a trail today. But, you know, I go out here on this freaking bike that I have that's probably, you know, it's a top of the line bike, right? You know, and I'm ripping down the trail with my buddies and we're getting PRs and we're, you know, talking shit about other people or whatever. And I really want to get a clunker, albeit a modern day clunker, but get a clunker and just go out there and see where I stack up.
If you like that, make sure you check out the full episode. And hey, do me a favor, before you take off, hit the like and subscribe.